not to be afraid to fail. So that can be an issue in PBL. Like they don't, especially for the student who's traditionally been successful in school, these are the kids that are the hardest ones for PBL. If you've failed all the time in school, and now we're doing PBL, okay, whatever, I've never been good at school anyway, I don't care. It's the kids who are used to getting A's and all of a sudden they see, whoa, I got a C on this, that start freaking out on you a little bit because they're figuring out, you change the rules on them, on how school works. They can't just copy and paste from the chapter anymore. So, take it on the test. So those are the kids that freak out, and you got to kind of calm them down and help them understand failure is part of learning. So it's okay. You're going to be all right. You're still going to do fine here if you just keep asking good questions and learning. And those are the kids that we find are the ones that, or the parents that you're going to get pushback from. Because the kid who's always failed in school, he's not going to give you any pushback, or she. So those are the kids, so when they start being successful now for the first time, now you have them on your side too. It's like, hey, I can actually draw in school, and you're going to count it for my grade instead of just saying quit doodling. So you bring out some of those talents that kids have that aren't always respected and assessed in schools. Culture piece. More questions, or can we cross this one off? We're getting to the end of our project, and we can tell because we don't have too many needs and notes. Is there anything else we need to add to this?
Question about the timing, the planning for these things. I mean, you guys have a different setup of not having kids in the afternoon. I guess that's one big thing. I don't really know if that's an answerable question, but a conversation piece as far as planning. Does that make sense?
We're trying to get 2 planning periods now, Brian, are you?
We can't get 3, you know. But is that something everybody else is kind of thinking about in the back of the head of, holy cow, I would have time to plan this, plan it businesses, do those other things?
Yeah.
Like, what's a dream solution to that issue? You know, that,
Okay.
I don't know how to phrase it into a question. That's a concern, problem, issue. It's an O'Neillism.
Let me ask one question and come back to that. Do we still have questions with this, or are we good? Video, software, hardware.
Good.
We're okay? Otherwise I can do a little mini workshop on that. Then I'm going to cross this off and tell you the last thing here. And I'm going to come back to what you said. So we have one more part of the process, and that's what we call critical friends, where we give feedback. And so we're going to have some work time here in a minute. And then at 1:30 we're going to do critical friends and actually have a couple students come in. They're going to help us do it and give you some feedback. So that's the last part of the framework, and that's a really important part. And we're going to model that at 1:30. Up till now, I can do a workshop on anything anyone needs. The other thing I was thinking about doing in a moment is you guys like to see a layout kind of how a project looks like from start to finish from a teacher back-end point of view.
Yes.
Because I feel like maybe that was your planning question, part of it.
Yeah.
The big thing for us planning is, for collaborative teaching, is having common planning time would be ideal and really hard, almost impossible to do without. So that's what we use that for. But in general, speaking about the planning, I find I plan like crazy before the project, getting it all figured out. And then the beginning of the project is really busy because you're planning all these entry events and maybe dealing with a community partner and things like that. And I get to the middle and there's kind of a lull, and that's when I really try to start planning my next project in the middle, because I get a lull, and then you get to the end and then you're doing all your assessment. And then usually you're still grading and doing assessing while you're starting the new one. That's why the new one is always so busy. So I'm launching this one, but then I'm still trying to do all my grading and finish up my assessment from the last one. So I usually find like I'm going crazy at that moment, and then I get to the middle of the project and there's like one day where I'm like all caught up on everything. And then by the next day I feel like I'm messing it. But, so I find that you really want to try in the middle to be planning your next one. And sometimes you get behind, and that's when I feel stressed, at least. So that's kind of the planning overview.
Do you ever reuse a project?
Yeah, I mean, I'm my third year here, but my first year was 9th grade world studies. My second year was American studies, so switched classes, so had to start over. So this is my first year teaching, reteaching the same class in PBL. And so we're redoing some of them and kind of reusing some of them. The part I find that doesn't change a whole lot are the workshop part. So if we're going to do World War II, and we might have a different audience, a different end product, and different things, but still the core content they have to learn in those workshops kind of tend to be the same. It's like we're doing Cuban Missile Crisis simulation that we did last year. We're reusing it, even though our end product is totally different. To be honest, I'll tell you this quick story of our end product for the Cold War last year. We did Spanish-American War where they made those videos like that, and we had a lot of structure at the beginning for the content, and they hated it. They gave us tons of grief and feedback about how terrible it was. So we said, okay, we'll fix that. We got ready, we ended the project, Cold War project came. We said, okay guys, here's our project, here's our entry event. We're doing the Cold War. What do you want to do? Gave them the project. And so they had to design it all. And it was awesome because after a couple of them got up there and tried to run the class, they're like, man, this is really hard. Yes, thank you. But it pushed them, and they knew the PBL process by this part, so they designed the whole project. And our 2 sessions did 2 different things. So it was pretty cool. It pushed them in a lot of different ways. I don't know if I'd do it again, but it was good for that group in that class.